Thank you, Willett Elementary School community, for joining us on our first ever virtual community outreach meeting for the new multipurpose room building to be constructed at Willett Elementary campus. My name is Matt Best. I'm Deputy Superintendent of the Davis Joint Unified School District, and I'll be your host for this virtual meeting. Joining me is the amazing Autumn Bird from HMC Architects. And our purpose for holding this meeting is to bring you all up to speed on the work that's taking place thus far on this project and to gather your thoughts. We'll be outlining the DJUSD program, defining our facilities project process, sharing with you key aspects of this exciting facility, discussing MPR placement location options, and giving you an opportunity to provide additional feedback to us over the course of the coming days. First and foremost, I'd like to give a huge thank you to the Davis voters for the passage of Measure M, which will allow us to build this beautiful building and many others like it throughout the district. The district has sold all of the $150 million worth of bonds related to the passage of Measure M. And in related and exciting news, the district was able to secure excellent financing rates for the bonds we just sold, saving Davis taxpayers more than $79 million in interest over the term of the bonds from what we had initially projected at the time of the Measure M election. In addition, the Measure M bond funds in the district has compiled additional funds to be used on this project in the sum total of $75 million. This bond project is by far the largest construction project the district has seen in many years, and we're excited to bring these much needed improvements to our students and school communities. The planning for the new MPR began several years ago, and several staff members from the Willett team have been involved in discussions about the needs of this campus since then. In 2017, the district engaged Rainforth Grau Architects to plan for 4 MPR buildings at Willett, Birch Lane, North Davis, and Chavez Elementary Schools. In 2018, the DJUSD Board of Education approved a facilities master plan, which included more than $450 million worth of needed improvements throughout the district. In November of 2018, the Measure M bond was passed with more than 75% of Davis voters voting yes. In December of 2018, the board prioritized projects from the facilities master plan into the current bond program, which is worth nearly $225 million. The first bonds were sold in late 2019, and planning began for Birch Lane and Chavez MPR buildings, with Willett and North Davis MPR buildings following close behind. It is the district's intention to build the same MPR building on all 4 elementary campuses in order to save on design and construction related costs. We believe constructing these buildings together will save between 10 and 15% of the overall cost of the buildings. In January 2020, DJUSD renegotiated agreements with the City of Davis for the existing tennis courts on the Willett campus, as the city had been operating tennis courts on DJUSD property for many years. The tennis court agreement will end in January of 2021, which will allow the district to begin planning and construction of the MPR building. In April, the bond team met with a group of Willett staff to begin planning potential location options, which were shared with the entire staff in early May. Elementary MPR projects make up a very large portion of our bond program. Nearly $50 million of improvements are earmarked for these MPR buildings. HMC Architects were selected to design all 4 of the MPR buildings. The Board of Education approved the schematic design for all 4 MPR buildings in October of 2019. And while there may be small adjustments to the building's design depending on the individual school and the particular location of the buildings, all 4 will be nearly identical. We expect this building to be completed during the summer of 2022 in order for use during the 2022-2023 school year. Each project in our bond program has similar phases. The first phase is the programming and schematic design phase. In this phase, we work to determine what buildings will be used, what the buildings will be used for, and ensuring that these spaces within the building can meet that need. In this case, much of programming and schematic design work has already been completed. And as I mentioned earlier, the board has already approved the schematic design for this building. Once the building location is finalized, the project moves into the design development phase. During this phase, specific construction details are finalized, including paint colors, faucet types, etc. We will have another community outreach meeting like this one with the bond team when we are between 25 and 50% complete with the design development phase. Once the design development phase is complete, our architects create construction documents, which must be approved by the Division of State Architect. The Division of State Architect approves all plans for public school construction in California. This process for this building will likely take 6 to 8 months once the drawings are approved, and the district, once the drawings are approved, the district will hire a contractor to build the building. The construction phase for this project will take a year. Now I'd like to hand the presentation over to our lead designer, Autumn Bird from HMC Architects.
Thanks, Matt. And diving into the MPR design process and where we stand today, a few of the backstory of the leading design features that we wanted to make sure we were accomplishing was to have a building that could hold the entire student body for a performance and could hold half the students for dining. So as the design process developed, we really made sure that we were holding those two goals to be our highest goals we were trying to reach. And as we go into the next page and we see the floor plan, you'll see that the building has been divided into 3 major functions. One is the dining and performances that I mentioned for the whole school and the partial school. Another function is going to be a music classroom and support spaces. And lastly, a kitchen and servery, as well as all of those back of house spaces. As part of the performances, there will be a raised stage that will have some lighting and AV, and the servery for the kitchen is going to be accessed from both indoor dining and outdoor dining. And you'll see that there is ample outdoor dining as well as the half a campus inside the station, or inside the building as well. We're also providing some outdoor hand washing stations that can be accessed for the whole campus and not just people utilizing the building. And some support spaces as well for the rest of the campus, including multi-use restrooms for the students, an all-gender restroom, and a designated staff restroom. And as I mentioned, the 3 functions on the previous page, we can see this main portion here in the middle is going to be the typical multi-purpose room that has the stage platform on the top here for the performances, and space for all the dining chairs or performance chairs in this large volume area. You'll see a couple of doors leading to the outdoor covered space, which is designated by this dashed line surrounding the building. Then the upper left-hand portion of the floor plan is the music classroom. Now you'll see a direct connection from this classroom to the platform so that the stage can function as a bit of a green room before performances, or a place to prepare stage props and things like that. There's also direct access for the music classroom to the exterior of the building, so classes can access the classroom without interrupting what functionings might be happening in the multipurpose room. Down below the music classroom, you'll see those support spaces that I mentioned, including the restrooms, as well as ample storage for both the music classroom and the multipurpose room to allow this room to be cleared completely of any furniture for its function. And the third activity that this building is designed for is the kitchen and servery. So this is where you'll see the servery is accessed from both the exterior as well as the interior of the multipurpose room, along with some support spaces and an area for deliveries to come from the student nutrition services. A couple of the design features that we placed as the highest priority is going to be natural daylighting. You'll see a lot of windows placed around the exterior of the building. With that natural daylighting, we also need to consider daylighting control. So you'll see deep overhangs to help prevent heat gain and to also allow for indirect light. Another design feature is acoustics. Whenever you have these large volume spaces, controlling of acoustics is a priority. So you'll see features to help mitigate those. And another driving force was that the district really wanted this building to be free from fossil fuels. So all the systems are going to be electronic only. So now you'll see the building placed on the campus. We can see the deep overhangs that allow for the outdoor dining, large glazing walls to allow for the natural daylighting to come in, as well as an operable wall system and several doors to allow for that indoor-outdoor interaction. On the right-hand side here, you can see the hand washing station and an opportunity for graphics or branding for each campus to help personalize the building. Next, we'll move on to the placement of the building considerations for the Willett campus. The first consideration was a north option. The building would be placed on the existing playfield directly adjacent to the portable classrooms that exist there now. A few things that we considered when we looked into this placement was the distance for the building to the parking lot and the existing classrooms. This option had the farthest walking distance for the youngest grades, as well as the farthest walking distance for any visitors that might be using the MPR during school hours or after hours. This location also turned its back to the existing campus. A few things to consider for this is supervision and security concerns, as well as any joint use that might want to happen between the two fields. Another thing to consider when you place the building on the back of the campus is how far utilities are going to need to run for the building to the tie-ins in the street or at the front of the campus. A second option that was considered was the southwest option, where the building would be placed directly on top of the existing playground equipment. This would, of course, need to be mitigated with a new playground. The new playground location is yet to be determined, but it would likely be placed somewhere on the existing play fields. Another consideration for this option is the mitigation of the play courts that it will take up. So expanding the existing play courts into the tennis court that would be removed, as Matt mentioned earlier, is a way we can mitigate the footprint that this building takes up. A few other things to consider is like the north option, how close are students walking to the building? This location has a great adjacency for some of the younger classrooms, but is still a bit of a walk for anybody visiting the site. This option also does bifurcate the play courts into two areas, which could be a bit of a supervision challenge during recess times. So considerations would need to be made for splitting the playground into potentially upper and lower levels, or just providing more supervision during those times. This option with the removal of the tennis court does allow for an opportunity for an expansion of the parking lot. One thing to consider is that deliveries will need to take place through this parking lot as well. This option provides for dedicated delivery access road directly to the back of the building without ever having to interact with the existing play court areas. And lastly is the southeast option, where the building is being placed directly on top of those existing tennis courts. The expansion of the parking would still be possible with this scenario over a portion of the existing tennis courts. The other areas that are going to be removed would be play courts. So again, some mitigation of either play courts or the potential expansion of the play courts over the existing playground, with the mitigation of a playground to the field location would need to be considered. This location provides for the closest access to the existing classrooms, as well as community events. Any outside community use could be done directly to the building and would not need to pass through the existing campus. Similarly with the utilities, the distance to the street is the shortest option. One of the concerns when presenting this idea to the user group was the facade of this school, the main entry. We didn't want people to feel like they were turning their backs. The building was turning its back on the street. So we went ahead and did a study of what this could potentially look like. And we feel that providing the additional parking here, as well as some great landscaping areas, and this existing wall, the building could be used for a great branding opportunity for the school, could really be a welcoming entry into the campus. And Matt?
Thanks, Autumn. I just want to leave you with a few closing thoughts. We hope that you will continue to stay informed and engaged as this project progresses. You can find a great deal of information about the bond projects, including key aspects, project milestones, and frequently asked questions for this and other projects throughout the district at www.djusd.net/bond. You can also subscribe to our monthly DJUSD Bond newsletter by visiting the website. We'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback about this building and its proposed location. You can send feedback to the facilityplanning at djusd.net email address. This email will be sent to all of the Bond team, and we really appreciate any comments that you have for us on this project. The comment period for this project will be open through June 1st, 2020. Please submit any comments you have about this presentation by that date. Thank you for watching, and we hope you and your family are well. Thank you.